Here we are.
Comfort is the silent killer of potential. Every time you choose easy, you trade growth for weakness. Happy Valentine's Day, brother.
Happy Valentine's Day, brother. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the greatness. We got some slim down tea here. So this is the thickest you'll see us after we drink this slim down tea. It's a little bit of oolong, a little bit of apple, a little bit of rose, spearmint, hibiscus, all the good stuff. But we're getting ready to slim down.
We're trying new teas out.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys. How you feeling? 1 out of 10, everybody. 1 out of 10.
Type it in. Type it in.
I think that was a lot of tea.
That was
all right.
a lot of tea.
It's
but
okay.
It's all good. I'm feeling like a strong 8 today. What about you, brother?
I'm feeling a 9.
A 9.
It's Valentine's Day. You know, the world's filled with love, and I choose to love.
Yeah.
No more hate in this world, except there's still going to be a lot. But it's okay.
It's funny you say that right after I was just watching a news conference in New York that seemed to be the opposite of such.
Right. A lot of craziness going on, but it's okay, guys. We are here, and we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is the hidden cost of comfort. The tax bill that you get by the end of the year or the end of your life because of the comfort that you chose, and why staying safe is slowly killing you and your business.
So, stepping out of our comfort zone, something you often hear me say is everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone. And it's not until we leave the comfort we know and step into often the discomfort or the unknown, the things that make us uncomfortable, that our life begins to change in a great way.
And the people around you are the ones who are going to keep you comfortable or keep you moving. I had a lot of people in my life prior who always said, Leo, you work too hard. Take some time to relax. And I did. And I took a lot of time to relax. Some relationships were just about comfort. Hey, come here. You're good. You know, just lay down. Lay down for a while or 2 or 3 weeks or 6 weeks or the whole month. You don't need to work.
Who can relate to that? Having friends who are, maybe they just love you a lot too, but yet they're always encouraging you to do less and to seek comfort.
Yes. There's been many moments in our lives where comfort has been very tempting. A big win happens, like we talked about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we can sit down and relax for a couple of months. But that's what kills the business.
So it kills the business. I was just talking to somebody today, earlier today, a great guy, and we was talking about this very thing and how that his business he was launching. He was 90 days in, he was blowing it up, and then decided to go with the comfortable route, and it started going the opposite direction. And I said, it's such an easy thing when things start going good to step backwards rather than continuing pressing forward.
That's right.
No time to coast.
No time to coast. So today on the Love Day, we're exposing the hidden cost of comfort and how to break free before it's too late. Starting with number 1, everyone type in the chat, comfort versus growth. This is going to be the core mentality shift that we want to transfer onto you, where every decision you make makes you stronger or makes you weaker. There is no neutral.
Yeah.
You're either putting a vote towards the person that you want to be or the person that you, number 1, either have been or the negative path that you're going into. Andrew, let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about why people get so comfortable and why it's so easy to fall into comfort and why every decision we make either makes us stronger or weaker.
Well, a lot of people, myself used to be included in this, have massive fear of failure. And that causes us to avoid anything we perceive as risky. Except there's no way to truly avoid risk. If there's no risk, there's no goodies.
Write that down. Type in the chat. No risk, no goodies.
So for each of you, I've always experienced that when I step out of comfort zone into smart, consistent action, on the other side of that discomfort is success, wonderful things that I could have never imagined. The community, the chosen family I could have never imagined. Everything that I've found has been on the other side of my comfort zone. And it wasn't until I got over myself, got out of my fear of failure, I made a huge decision in 2014. And I remember being $80,000 in debt from the hospital stay. And I remember signing that note for the $34,000 coaching program I couldn't afford. And going home going, what the heck did I just do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was terrified. I thought, well, there's only one thing to do. I have to start making calls. I have to make this succeed. And so although I felt like quitting many times a day, I was terrified of failure. Rather than letting it drive me to inaction, I let it drive me to take massive action, which is the difference, by the way, because the feeling of fear may not leave, but it's what we allow it to push us into that makes the difference.
Absolutely. Now, this is so good for us to just take a minute, right? Take a minute and ask ourselves, have we been too comfortable lately? Have we been letting ourselves be passive and let life pass us by? Or are we actively choosing discomfort? And we talked about yesterday why it's so important to put ourselves through resistance. Resistance is what creates the growth that we need. It's what creates the lessons. It's what creates the resilience to get through bigger challenges as they come up. But are you consistently choosing discomfort? You know, a lot of times we have this fear, like Andrew said, of failure, this fear of judgment. I had a massive fear of judgment. I built my following to about 1.2 million followers 2 years ago, and I stopped posting when I got to that point because of comfort and because of massive fear of judgment. The more I posted, the more people saw my face and saw my words, and the more fearful I was of that judgment.
Some people say mean things.
Yeah.
Some people have sad lives, and they want to take it out on you.
Absolutely. And I didn't build the thick skin to be able to get past that at the time, so I wasn't able to get through it. And I allowed people in my life, particularly partners that I had in the past, make sure I was comfortable.
Right.
They loved me, but they wanted me to be comfortable. They wanted them to be comfortable, right? The more I grew, the more uncomfortable they became.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, guys, when we're around people who don't truly want to grow. They make sure you're comfortable. But when you're comfortable, you're not choosing a life of discomfort. You're actively choosing to decline.
I told the story of the 9 monkeys they put into a pen, and they put a ladder in the pen.
Where do these stories come from?
And it was a book I read. And every time the monkeys would climb the ladder, they would spray them with a water hose.
Right.
And they would go up the ladder. They would spray them with the water hose. They would come down. And they switched out 4 of the monkeys. They had 5 old monkeys in there and 4 new ones. Took out 4 of the old ones.
4 monkeys.
Had 9 monkeys in there again. And although they had quit spraying with the water hose, every time one of those new monkeys would get excited and start climbing the ladder, the 5 old monkeys would pull them down.
Yeah.
And so they let that go on for about 4 more days. And then on the 5th day, they switched out the other 5 monkeys, the 5 old monkeys. So now they have 4 new monkeys plus 5 other new monkeys.
A lot of monkeys.
The monkeys who had never been sprayed with a water hose, only been pulled down by the old monkeys who used to get sprayed with the water hose. Those 4 monkeys, although they never experienced the negativity because they had been pulled down every time they tried to climb up, began to pull down the new 5 monkeys. The 5 new monkeys would go to climb the ladder. They would pull them down. They didn't know why they was pulling them down. They'd never been sprayed with the water hose. They just knew that the other monkeys said, you're not supposed to do that. And I think that's a powerful example of when you're in a friend group and many times people just do things, don't even know why. And it's the way I lived for a lot of years. It's like, why do we do this? I don't know. We just do.
It's just what we do.
It's what we do. It's what made us survive so far. Except to go from surviving to thriving, we have to do the thing that sometimes everybody says, don't do that. We have to go against the grain. And thankfully, there's a wave of entrepreneurship that is happening that has become a real valuable and popular thing. Except there's still a lot of entrepreneurs who are living in the cycle of the loop-de, I call it, of stress and frustration, and go get some clients and then get stressed and then get frustration. And they have this loop of negative energy that they run in because they've been used to a job. So they take that same mindset to now their business. and it creates that loop continuing on. But so what's some other things that keep us from our mission and keep us beat down into comfort?
I was taught before, and we have it in front of us, and it's kind of a funny word, but it's called the biology of softness. And the biology of softness explains why our brain works against you. Our brains, like Andrew said, are wired for survival. Over the past many, many generations, our brain is still hardwired to keep us safe from the saber-toothed tigers, from the murderers, from people, from all different sources. And now it protects us from waves of pain, like stress, like bills, like finances, those type of things. But our brains still have the same wiring where we see stress, financial stress, the same way our brain saw a saber-toothed tiger way back in the day.
Yeah.
I paid a hypnotherapist a lot of money to teach me that. And it was a cool experience because I laid down and he did a walkthrough thing, like a hypnotic trance thing. I was awake the whole time and I felt like a spider was on me, so I couldn't really pay attention. But it's good because I don't like being under like a trance or anything. But he taught me that my mind is still the same. And because he would show both of those images in my mind and how I would have the same stress response. So knowing that we have the same brain that creates the same fear chemicals when we come along with financial stress as we did way back then. It is a biological trap of comfort. Comfort is a biological trap that we jump into whenever something fearful comes around, and instead of attacking it head on, attacking the bills head on, attacking the business head on, we go ahead and jump into the comfort zone. And we stay in that comfort zone for a very long time because why would we move? Why would we get out? The saber-toothed tiger's on the other side. The financial stress is on the other side. I'm comfortable here. But then in that comfort zone, you're slowly killing yourself because you're actively, or let me say passively, choosing to let your life decline in all sorts of ways. As the world is evolving, your life is declining. And this is why we tell so many people, like, get out of that comfort zone, get away from those people who keep you in that comfort zone and go through a period of massive discomfort where you are forced to renew yourself, where you are forced to create a new standard for yourself, where you are forced to become a better version of yourself, where all you attract is better people, better opportunities, more financial opportunities, all these things that your brain, you really have been wanting, but you've been keeping yourself safe.
The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. It's a quote I wrote down I wanted to share with you guys.
I like that.
The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. I think most people greatly underestimate the amount of discomfort it takes to get where they want to go.
I 1000% agree. And before we continue, I just want to call out some awesome people.
Oh, let's do that.
That we have here.
Who we got?
First of all, shout out to Bill.
Mr.
Bill
Happy
Welch.
Valentine's Day, brother.
I don't think Bill has skipped a single day on here. Bill's growing. Bill's rocking. We got Mark Simmons here. Happy Valentine's Day. Miss Roberta.
Hello. Nice to see you, my friend.
What up, Kay?
What up, Kay?
What up, Marlon? Hello, Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
What up, Lori?
We got the whole crew.
It's good to see all you guys.
Nice to
What's
see you
up,
again.
Les? Happy Valentine's Day.
Frankie and Patty.
Hello. I just want to make sure we got everyone.
Aiden, what's up, my brother? Good
Aiden
to see
said he needs some of this good energy, so we are sending this good energy
brother.
to you. Guys, what is the comfort tax? Write that down. Type it in the chat. All caps, the comfort tax. What is it really costing you to be comfortable? Every decision you make has a price, whether you feel it now or whether you feel it later. For example, when you avoid the gym, really what you're doing is you're creating a weak and tired body. You're creating a look in the mirror saying, wow, I don't feel good in my body, right? When you're not hitting the gym, when you're eating negative, bad food, really what you're creating, what the cost of it is a weak body. When it comes to mental, when we're avoiding challenges, I used to avoid challenges all the time. That's
Yeah.
how I was taught to see challenges. You see one, you run.
You
You go
avoid
the
it.
opposite direction. But what I started to create, my cost of avoiding challenges was having a slow and a weak mind. I couldn't make decisions well, right? Until we went through 2 years of having to make massive changes and decisions in our business. That's when I learned leadership and how to make good decisions. But I paid the tax of avoiding challenges.
Mm.
That was the cost of comfort. And that probably costed us a couple $1 million.
Something that I think is important to note here is that I hear that human brains, I hear different figures, but anywhere from 13 to 20% on average that we actually use of our brains.
Yeah. And our human potential.
You start thinking about that and you're leaving 87%, depending on which stat you look at. What if it's only 60% unused? 60, 70, 80% of your brain sitting there unused because we're comfortable. We can make money or we can make excuses, but we can't make both. And what we put off tend to never get done. And I think it's such a powerful thing when we just say, no, I'm not going to allow myself to sit here in comfort any longer, because the pain of comfort is worse than the pain of change in the long run. For years, I sit around watching YouTube videos, got out of the hospital, couldn't keep up with work, with my doctor telling me I needed to go on disability, depressed, and wishing that I could do something. And so I started Googling, how do I buy rent houses? And I found out that I could buy a house in Mount Vernon, Illinois for $14,000. So I was going to go to work and save up $14,000, working my behind off, making less than 30 grand a year, to eventually own my first rental house. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I was gonna. That was my first goal. And then thankfully, I, of course, found out how to do real estate the creative way and was able to shift that plan and grow a portfolio. I share that because everything changed when I said, I know there's a lot of information I don't know. So I'm going to go find some of that information and find out a way to change the situation I'm in. I see this all the time with business owners, where we get hung up in this little loop of doing a certain thing a certain way, and it takes us just high enough financially, mentally, physically that we survive. And so we every single month do just enough to survive, but we allow ourselves to live in comfort, which really just turns to pain the rest of the time.
I know so many people in my life that chose the life of comfort, and I used to make it a point, like never to judge, right? Never look at someone and say, you know what? They chose that life. They should have went a different way. I've been able to see it now where everyone chooses their own style and own way, but it's the people like us as entrepreneurs that we see that choose a comfortable lifestyle that stay stuck in a certain place for so long.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs like you and I, like us guys, we are wired in a different way where we almost fall in love with the game. We fall in love with the creation. We fall in love with service and doing these things, and it gives us oxygen, right? Serving people gives us oxygen. Same for you, most likely. And when you're creating something valuable, it probably gives you so much life. And what we don't realize is that comfort doesn't feel like it's killing you in the moment because it's comfortable until one day you wake up and you get that big bill of what comfort has costed you. And you look in the mirror and you get the hard realization that, damn, I screwed up. I should have went harder. I should have built more. You know, I have this philosophy where I always think to when I am on my deathbed when I'm 100. I used to be 80 and then I realized you can be to 100. And I would close my eyes and I would imagine myself in my deathbed, and I would imagine two scenarios. You could do it with me. I imagine scenario number one. Scenario number one is if I chose the life of comfort. And I would imagine the people that would come to my ceremony of life, celebration of life. And I would see a couple people, maybe about 18 people, maybe my family, maybe some friends, maybe Andrew decided to stop by if he survived longer than I did. Wife, kids, all the good stuff. And I would see the people there, and it would be such a sad ceremony of life because I didn't impact many people's lives. I had a couple people in my life, and we did a few things. And as they're doing their speeches, they're saying, "Oh, Leo was a good man. He did a couple things here and there." And the first time I did that, I actually cried because you sit back and you're like, wow, is that what I lived my whole life for? Just for someone to say, yeah, he was a good dude. Yeah. Move on to the next day. Let's bury him. God, forget about him. And then the second scenario, I thought, what if I chose a life of discomfort? What if I took on full responsibility over my life and decided to create something incredible where every day I was doing something hard? I was doing something of growth. And I would imagine dying at 100 years old and seeing thousands of people at the ceremony of life, celebrating the life that I created and hearing the stories from other people. Leo was an incredible man. He created all these things and he helped all these people. And I would imagine the celebrations that would happen, and I would see the color and the light and all the beautiful things that happened because of my life. And I said, you know what? I'm going to choose that life. Whatever I need to do to live that type of life is the life that I'm going to live, because I cannot imagine how much that would eat me up if I sat back and saw that as my life as I was dying. So for you guys,
it's powerful visualization.
Think about on your deathbed at 100 years old, who do you want there? And what type of life do you want to have lived over the past 100 years to create something so incredible where you have all your favorite people, all the people you've impacted at your ceremony of life?
That's a powerful example, because have you ever made a decision? I'm sure you know what this feels like. At some point in your life, and then right after you did it, maybe it was a small decision, maybe it was a big decision, or maybe at the time, at least, it was a big decision. And then you said, oh, crap, that was the wrong decision.
Yep.
And you have that gut-wrenching moment of, oh, crap, and you feel that. And I think about that when that's the first thing that come to my mind when you started describing that visualization, because right now we have that moment to make that decision every single day. Like how we live our life. That's how we are literally spending our life. We don't know how much time we get, but we know we can choose daily how we spend or invest our life. So when I start looking at it that way and realize, like, I remember being 20 in ICU thinking it may be over. And that moment, it feels like your whole life is just, the Bible says, but a vapor. It appears for a little time and then it vanishes away.
That's right.
And you start to think about it in that regard, and you're going, oh my gosh, every day I need to be investing for good and for God to impact people's lives in a meaningful way, which is why I love coming on this show every day, getting to share the things we go through, praying it speeds up someone else's learning and brings inspiration to you guys. Something Les Brown often says is if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. And if you do what's hard, your life will be easy.
So choose the hard things. Choose the discipline route, because you're going to thank yourself for it. Financially, when you avoid risk, you stay broke. Right? When you choose the consistent route of taking even small risks consistently, you create a very good wealth plan for you and your family. Relationships. I used to be a big avoider of hard conversations because it was uncomfortable. When I would have the hard conversations, it would spook me. But when I realized that avoiding those hard conversations led to something even worse, which is, have you ever been in a relationship where it's shallow? Have you ever been in a room full of shallow people where there's only shallow connections and no one really talks in a deep manner? It's a very terrible feeling of deep, 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 deep loneliness. So when I realized that having those hard conversations actually are what create the deepest relationships, the greatest relationships, the most vulnerability, the most happiness and love, that's what I was doing. Having a hard conversation meant love, which is what I would want. And avoiding those meant shallow connections. So I started to put the two and two together, and I stopped looking at it as a phantom tax that would come, a phantom, as something I couldn't see. And then I started to really picture what that comfort would cost me.
Wow.
Because comfort, guys, is very expensive. That's why we call it the comfort tax. T-A-X. Tax. So, Andrew.
Yes.
The question I have for you, for these beautiful people on this beautiful Valentine's Day, is how do we escape the comfort And how do we manufacture hardship? How do we manufacture this discomfort in our lives every day? We're saying, Andrew, Leo, it makes total sense. I get it. I don't want to be comfortable anymore. But how do I get out of it?
Find a brother like Leo that yells at you every single day when you're in the gym until you can't lift another weight.
That'll do.
So I would say it comes down to the tactical side, which is we talk a lot about most important daily action steps, your MIDAS. Type it in the chat, MIDAS.
Most important daily action steps.
Your most important daily action steps are just putting on the calendar the uncomfortable. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to exercise. And that doesn't mean pump weights 3 times and look at my phone for 17 minutes. That means I'm going to actually push myself. I'm going to get on the phones, and that doesn't mean I'm going to make one phone call and have a phone conversation and make one sell or try to make a sell and say, made my call. It means I'm going to actually push myself.
Yep.
And if I can start to push myself beyond my comfort zone, I remember going to banks, and I just refused to give up in the beginning stages. I was needing funding. And I didn't know everything I know now and everything our mastermind knows about all of the lending and resources that's available to us. So I just went to banks and went to lenders, and I applied and was told no. And I applied and I was told no. And I applied and I was told no. And I applied and I was told no. Times 12 different times. Finally, I didn't have enough fingers. I have to start using my toes. And so we had 12 turndowns until one day I go to buy a house from a guy, and he goes, oh, you need to meet the guy who lent me money on my houses.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced me. The right connection. Being around the right people with the right connections, by the way, is key. And so because I refused to give up, I kept saying, I'm going to figure this out. I had 12 turndowns, and I'm telling you, other people who are succeeding is not because they had an easier time than you. It's because they refuse to give up, and it's impossible to beat someone who refuses to give up. Someone who says, I don't give a crap about discomfort. If it's a cold plunge, I'm going to do the cold plunge. If it's a gym trip, I'm going to do the gym trip. If it's sales calls, I'm going to do the sales calls. If it's raising money, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to do the thing that used to scare me, and I'm going to believe now that emotion I feel is excitement rather than fear. And you hear me verbally tell myself that sometimes. I feel fear. I go, must be excited. My heart rate sped up. And so I immediately no longer allow myself to speak in the way that the fearful Andrew would have spoke. I don't say that scares me. I said that used to would have scared me. Now, I'm going to try it. So I immediately shift my language to not allow myself to become soft about the decision.
This is something that I want to break down with you because it took you 12 no's in order to get lent money. Mm-hmm. Getting lent money is what got you to bigger deals. Getting bigger deals is what got you to level up in your life. However, if a person can't get told no 12 times, though, for example, you would have never gotten to that next level.
Right.
Because you couldn't handle 12 no's. But now we start to see where else can this be utilized? The dream relationship. Maybe it takes 12 no's to get to the right one, or maybe it takes 12 no's to get to the right deal. Any of these things. Sometimes it's just a no.
By the way, to get my first deal, probably 300 phone calls.
Yeah.
To sellers.
Absolutely.
To buy my first house.
And this is where it starts to make sense, right? Because you have to get told no. But if we have a massive fear of rejection, then we can't get it. And that's why sometimes we stay in a comfort zone because I don't want to get rejected.
Yeah.
But you have to in order to level up. And that's why when you intentionally put yourself through hardship, go to a coffee shop and ask for 20% off. You're going to get told no. Try to get told no multiple times. You know, when you build charisma.
I see you do this all the time, by the way. Is there a discount?
and we do it not because we don't care about paying full price, but we just want to get told no sometimes. When you build up charisma, sometimes it's hard to get told no.
It is.
Yeah, you might say something crazy and they might just, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They don't even know what you said. And that is actually how I built charisma because I got told no so many times. So I changed my approach to things and I started to get told yes. And I was like, hey, I kind of like it. This works. And you have to put yourself through rejection therapy. You have to put yourself through controlled adversity. Because if you're doing some big workouts, you can control that. You're training your resilience so that when something happens, if you ever have to get in a fight, I'm not saying you have to, or if you ever got to push a thing off of somebody else, if you ever have to save someone, put them on your shoulders, whatever it is, at least you've had a lot of training before then, instead of just all of a sudden having to save someone and you fall under them and you both die. That's how my brain works sometimes. Same thing with hard conversations. Can I find hard conversations in my life? If you feel disrespected, does it scare you to say, hey, I feel like you just disrespected me. Let's talk about it. Does that scare you? It used to scare the shit out of me having those conversations. Now, as soon as I'm disrespected, I'll have the conversation 4 seconds after I get disrespected.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to get disrespected anymore. And that's because you put yourself through intentional controlled adversity. Right? Everyone type that in the chat. Controlled adversity. There's another one I want to just point out for you guys, fasting.
This is a good one.
When you fast, not necessarily just food, right? But when you put yourself in a fast, when you put yourself in a social media detox, whatever it might be, a fast, you develop control over your impulses. I would not be the man I am if I did not have self-control over all the things. And as men, for example, I'll speak for the men here, right? We have a lot of impulses.
Sure.
And that's what we see destroy most people.
So true.
Right? When you're controlled by social media, when you're controlled by sex, when you're controlled by food, when you're controlled by drugs or alcohol, you're screwed. We don't trust a single person who doesn't have absolute control over their impulses.
It's huge. Because if someone can't control their conversation or what you just talked about, food, sex drive, their alcoholism, all of those things, now you start to see if they won't take charge of that area of their life, what about the other areas?
Slips
that you
into everything else.
And I think this is very powerful. There's a quote I wanted to share with you guys. It says, "You will never know how far you can go until you've been pushed beyond what you thought was possible." And it just reminds me years ago when I went through crazy things, when I started investing, no connects, not knowing what the heck I was doing. I just jumped in with both feet, and I'm just out there figuring it out pretty much alone.
Yeah.
And I'm doggy paddling and don't know how to swim. And that's how it felt. And I'm bobbing down and coming up for some air, trying to survive. And I remember being told no so many times. I remember trying to figure it out. I remember feeling like I can't do this anymore. Like, I need deals, I need loans, I need buyers, I need sellers, I need all of the things I was needing, except it was creating such a pressure on my mind that caused me to be able to develop an alligator skin, a tenacity that would help us to withstand later things.
Yep.
And I think that's such a powerful moment to realize that sometimes we get fixated on a certain thing. Well, I just need money and it will solve my problem. I just need this deal to close and it will solve my problem. What if it doesn't? What if something falls through? How do I develop the toughness to be able to go on anyway? Say, hey, 299 sellers told me no. I'm going to find the one that says yes. 12 bankers told me no. I'm going to find the one that says yes and sees the vision. And so now you just start to take ownership for your life. You can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both. If it's not doing the thing, it's nothing more than an excuse.
Wow. Guys, this is such an important topic that I hope we take away. And I know those of you who are listening who really want that vision for your life, you will take away. But let's do something here. Let's do something I call the personal comfort audit. I want to do it together. And Andrew, you and I will do it together as well. But I got a couple questions for you guys and for you, Andrew, and for myself.
Yeah.
Question number 1 is, where in your life have you been avoiding discomfort? Is there a place that you say, maybe I should have had that hard conversation, or I should be having this conversation, I should be doing this, I just don't want to do it because it's scary, or because I know it's going to take a lot of work, right? Is there an area in your life where you guys, you, myself also, have been avoiding discomfort? Think about it.
Yeah, that's good. Ooh, someplace I've been avoiding discomfort. Yeah, I've been on a caffeine binge for the last 3 months and have not skipped a day of massive caffeine, and I keep intending to do a caffeine fast one day just to reset myself. But I dread doing that caffeine fast.
What is tomorrow? Can you do it tomorrow? Just like one day.
I can.
It's Saturday. Maybe it's Saturday and Sunday fast, coffee fast.
Coffee fast. I'll do that.
You do a coffee
Still
fast.
have me a green tea.
There you go.
All right. You got it. Tomorrow, no coffee.
Okay. Something in my life that I've been avoiding. I would say going incredibly hard in the gym. I have maintained my body for the past 3 years, and I've been in a great place.
Yeah.
But I have not grown because I know I can. I just know how hard it is to just fail in the gym. Like go to failure.
Yeah.
Because you see, I throw weight down, but I don't go to failure ever. Like ever. That's why I've been here for 3 years.
Now, yesterday you went a little harder.
But I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I could throw that weight.
Okay.
But if I went to 80 or went to 90, I would have failed. But I don't let myself fail. So that's another thing.
You got to change that?
Yeah, I would change that.
All right.
I also need you to get stronger so you can spot me when I'm doing.
I spot you. I got you.
Those things.
I got you. I spot you.
It's helpful to be at. We might have to switch gyms too because we're at a very old person gym. Not nothing against old people. I'm just saying it's hard to get motivated when no one is that strong around you.
That's fair.
So we'll switch gyms and I will work out harder.
And I'll spot you starting Monday.
Let's go.
Or tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go to the gym tomorrow.
Perfect. Deal.
All right. So that's number 1. How about you guys? Let's see if you guys typed in the chat. Jason says no coffee. Those are fighting words, Mr. Slag. And then Jason also says use the Smith machine, Leo. Safety for the failure. There you go. I like that. All right. Kyle says every area. Okay. Fixing every area. I would fix one area at a time. Choose one area in your life that you want to focus on. Vitality, tribe, finances, vocation, spirituality. Which one is it that you want to work on? Because if you work on one, every other area will also improve, but you can't work on all at once.
Right.
Right? It's very hard for us to work on all at once.
One at a time. What you focus on gets fixed.
Okay, next one. Kind of similar question, but what is one area where you're letting comfort win? Maybe you're letting yourself relax too much in a certain area, or maybe you could be working harder, like in the gym, but where's one place you've been letting comfort win, Andrew?
There's one place I've been letting comfort win. Probably. I'm going to have to think about this one, but I know we have a 3-day challenge coming up, and I know I'm supposed to be putting together some things for that, and it's been more comfortable for me to just focus on the other projects and work. So I've been putting that off. I still have a slide deck to get my assistant to make. I still have just communication and meetings that need to be had. I just haven't done it yet because when it comes to those technicals of the event, it's just not my favorite part. So
okay,
that's probably where. So I will fix that tonight and tomorrow.
You log it down. There you go.
Yeah.
Something I've been comfortable with is letting this show stay at where it's at. We got in a very comfortable process where.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because it's just in front of the amazing people here on Valentine's Day.
Confession.
Yeah, my Valentine's Day confession is that I have been very comfortable with this show and I have not let it grow because seeing you 25 people every day has been fun. Yeah. And I know it's going to be very uncomfortable seeing 2,500 people in a couple of months every day. Yeah. And knowing that I have to wake up earlier and prep more. I have to make sure everything is in a row, and you can mess up, but it's just more stakes.
Yeah.
Right here, if I make mistakes, no one knows. No one sees the mistakes. So that's something I can work on.
But that's interesting perspective too. Because when you show up, like you've been showing up and delivering your heart here, really. And sometimes, though, we see it in a different way. You know, if we're in a room where there's 400 people, is just different than being in a room talking to 4. Except the impact, although it multiplies, the impact on the 4 may be the same as the 400. So I think that's a good perspective to have. As we're putting in the reps at the 25 level, getting ready to build out to bigger.
Absolutely. So I'll work on that. I will definitely get this show to 2,500 a month.
What's the action? What's the action that we need to be accountable to?
Continue using Kaizen. Get 1% better every single day.
Something we get to buy more camera equipment.
Yeah, right. prepare the show. Prepare gifts and really cool stuff for other people. Make better content outside of the show.
If you guys want some, talking about for them.
Yeah.
Gifts. If you guys want gifts, type gifts in the chat. We like gifts.
Maybe a little trip to Hawaii for some of y'all. Maybe some cool stuff. Maybe we'll send you some tea. Really cool things. I think we're gonna do a streaks.
We're
right?
gonna gamify it a bit.
We're gonna gamify. And Bill's like, hey, does my first 30 appearances count?
Bill missed a day. He was on a flight on the way to our event one day.
Oh, come on, Bill.
But he watched the replay.
We watched the replay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna start doing some gifts and create some cool things. Les says hers is vocation, which is responding to leads.
Ooh.
She needs to hire someone for that.
Yeah, got to pre-screen those.
Which she has in the process of doing so. So make sure to set up those interviews and hire that person ASAP, and you'll change that bottleneck.
Gifts. Hey, they're liking this gifts idea.
Good. Everyone likes gifts. Jennifer says, holidays threw me off my momentum that I had. Just got back. I can't read. Been struggling to get back out there since. I know I just need to get out of my head. Just need to put in the action regardless of my head holding me back. What's your thoughts on that, Drew?
My thoughts are, do it. Jennifer's awesome. She has such a great heart. And Jennifer, I love you, but you're someone who in the past has gotten in your own way a lot. So take the action, get an accountability partner. She's part of our mastermind family. Pick out one of the amazing ladies in our mastermind and get an accountability partner. Text me, by the way, if you need a recommend on who, and I will hook you up.
Jennifer, write down exactly what you need to do, what that thing has been holding you back. Text it to me and I'll keep you to it. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. So this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna make sure that this show can grow, and we're gonna get a lot of new people on here. And that's been something I've been blocking discomfort. So next and last question really is, what is the one thing you can do today to break out of that? Which we've already said.
Yeah, we've already said.
Yours is?
Coffee Fast tomorrow, and get the event for next week, the online virtual event, prepared this weekend.
Mine is creating a landing page to make sure that people can find this show, and then generating a very good content map for my content to push people here. That is mine. But what is one thing you can do today on this beautiful Valentine's Day to break out of that comfort? Because growth begins the moment you choose discomfort over ease.
And for any of you listening, if you haven't already got the daily reminders, make sure you get them. daily.truca.com. Get the daily reminders, because we are about to put together some very special things that you already hearing us talk about. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be fun ways for you to share this with your friends. But right now you can sign up at daily.truca.com to get this reminder every single day at 3 p.m. Eastern at noon PST, because we're going to keep showing up. We're going to show up better, bigger, with even more value as days and weeks go on, because every day we're going to get at least 1% better.
And we're going to get slimmer, because this tea says slim down.
Slim down tea.
So again, this is the thickest you'll see us after we slim down drinking this tea.
Cheers to the slim down tea.
Guys, it's going to be a great day. God is with us. Let us continue to keep our eyes fixed on what is important. Continue to show up on this daily live. We're going to be back here on Monday, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have a lot of things that are going to be changed in a good way. I'm excited to see you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend filled with joy, filled with love, filled with great, fantastic energy. And let's get out of that comfort zone, guys.
Move the needle this weekend. See you Monday. Same place, same time.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Much love to you all for
Bye.
Valentine's Day.
For Valentine's Day.